January 7th, 2018. I can't believe that 2018 is here. And this Sunday will mark the first Sunday of the new year. And if you've been around Gateway for any length of time, at least through January's, you know that we begin each year with a fast. In fact, way back in 2006, Gina, Annie, and I began our first ever 21-day fast in preparation for the launch of Gateway. We figured we had never done anything like this before, so maybe it would be a good time to do something we'd never done before. And then in 2007, January, our launch team, a little around 30 people maybe, we together did a 21-day fast in preparation for Gateway's launch. And then every year since, we've done it. Last year marked 10 years as Gateway doing a beginning year fast. And then several years ago, God began giving me kind of a direction through a word or a phrase to kind of help send us forward in a new year. Last year was next, and many of you throughout the year came and talked to me about it was a year of transition for you. And that kind of helps understand that when God gives us a word for a church, it has a double ring to it. It has a ring for us as individual families, people, about what God may be doing and pointing us toward, as well as for our church collectively. So it was October-ish, probably the earliest I ever felt like the Lord was kind of giving me direction for a new year, for this coming year. And the word He spoke into my heart was freedom. Freedom. Now, on the surface, it seems like it's a big word, but the more I dug into it, I realized it was even bigger than what I had anticipated. The verse of scripture that first came into my head was in the book of John, and Jesus said, if you hold to my teachings, you're really my disciples. And then the part that most people know, He says, and then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And what really hit me was many times in prayer when we'll ask for freedom, we're looking for some kind of instantaneous, take it away, remove the obstacle, put me, transport me in a different arena or something. But really, freedom follows following. That if the truth is going to set us free, then freedom isn't just a one and done, a snap of fingers. It's God's actually led the way and is leading the way to freedom. If we will know Him and follow Him, and that's where freedom comes in. The next passage of scripture that really hit me when I started kind of digging into this was when Jesus steps into the temple after the Feast of Tabernacles, and in Luke He begins quoting from Isaiah, and basically He's saying, listen, I am the light you've been looking for. I've come to set captives free and bring sight to the blind, and in that moment He is embracing the prophecy of Isaiah, and He's saying, I'm freedom. So when we follow Him, He leads us to freedom. And so here's how the next 3 or 4 Sundays are going to play out. First, this coming week, I want to talk about fasting again. I want to talk about how fasting really is following Christ, and how fasting then leads us into freedom. The next week, oddly enough, in Isaiah chapter 58, Isaiah is prophesying. The Lord is speaking to him and saying, hey, look, it's not just about you not eating stuff. That's not what makes a fast. What makes a fast is actually you, in turn, setting captives free. It's an interesting passage of scripture. And so what I want to talk about is freedom isn't just for us. We will follow Christ into freedom when we, in turn, free others, when we bring Christ to others. And so that's an interesting twist to freedom. So we're going to do, how do we follow Christ in fasting to freedom? How do we serve others into their own freedom? How that frees us. And then on the next Sunday, we're going to really talk about how the Word frees us. How when we follow the Word and how we read and study the Word, how that brings freedom. I'm going to help you unpack how actually do you study the Word, and then introduce a daily reading schedule to help us get into the Word. In fact, we've gone one step deeper than that. Most every Sunday next year, the sermon is going to come out of that daily reading for that week. We're going to trust God to open our eyes to who He is and how to get into freedom from those very passages that we're reading together as a church. And then on the last Sunday of January, We're going to look at what God has in store for us in this next year, and then finish that evening with a big worship service. So our fast, the date, some of you have already started. I understand that. But collectively, we're going to go Monday, January 8th through the 28th. I'm excited for January 7th, and I look forward to seeing you in one of our 3 services as we embark on our Following Christ to Freedom.